All right, today we've got a really fascinating food paradox to unpack. We're looking at poha, which is a super popular breakfast made from flattened rice. Now, you'd think a breakfast made of rice would send your blood sugar soaring, right? Well, what we found out might totally change the way you look at your next meal.
So let's just get right to it. A breakfast that's made from rice. I mean, what could possibly go wrong for your blood sugar? If you're someone who keeps an eye on this stuff, you're probably thinking red flag. And that makes total sense, but is it actually true?
Okay, so to really figure this out, we need something to compare it to, right? A baseline. We've got to see how our bodies handle just regular old rice first. That's our starting point. And here it is. This is our benchmark. A simple meal with white rice gives you a 36 milligram spike in blood sugar. That's pretty significant. This is kind of our usual suspect, the number to beat. So remember that number, 36.
So the logic seems pretty simple, right? Poha is made from rice. White rice gave us a 36 milligram spike, so poha should do pretty much the same thing. It's a straight line from A to B. But as you're about to find out, when it comes to food, it's rarely that simple. All right, so we've got our expectation. Now it's time to actually test it. Let's see what happened when we put poha on trial. And the experiment was super straightforward. We're talking 250 grams of homemade poha, about 400 calories. Nothing crazy. And to see what was happening, it was all tracked with a continuous glucose monitor for super accurate minute-by-minute data. This isn't some weird lab test. This is just a regular breakfast.
Okay, this is it. The moment of truth. We know white rice clocked in at 36 milligrams. We've done the poha test, and trust me, this is where things get really, really interesting. So, what do you think? What was the impact of that 250 grams of poha? Did it hit that 36 mg mark, go higher, or maybe lower? Let's see what the numbers say.
Well, it wasn't just a little different. The result absolutely blew our expectation out of the water. Get this? 19 milligrams. That is it. 19. Remember, white rice was 36, poha was almost half that. I mean, that's not just a small difference. That is a huge, massive difference. It's a total paradox. So that's the big question, right? Why? How on earth can two things, both made from rice, have such wildly different effects? Well, the secret isn't in how you cook it. It's in how it's made, way before you even buy it. Okay, so reason number one has to do with the polish. Your standard white rice is fully polished. That means all the good stuff on the outside, like the bran and fiber, gets stripped away. But poha, it's made from semi-polished rice. That means it hangs on to way more of that fiber, and we all know fiber is your friend when it comes to slowing down sugar. But here's the thing, the fiber, that's only part of the story. There's a second reason, and honestly, this one is even more fascinating. This is the real game changer. It all comes down to the poha process itself. See, before it even gets packaged, the rice is boiled first, then it's flattened out, and finally, it's dried. This whole sequence, cooking it, then changing its shape, then drying it, it actually changes the very structure of the starch inside the rice. And this process made the original researcher think of something else. It was like a light bulb went off. It reminded them of this amazing result they got from another experiment with overnight rice. And when you put the numbers side by side, it is just wow. Look at this. White rice is way up there at 36. But poha is at 19, and overnight rice is at 18. They're practically the same. This is the smoking gun. It's that cook, then cool process that's the magic trick. It creates something called resistant starch, which basically acts like fiber in your body. It's harder to digest, so you don't get that big sugar rush. And the coolest part? Poha comes with this benefit already built right in. So let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway from all this? What does this poha paradox really tell us about the food on our plates? This whole thing is a fantastic lesson in what food processing actually means. We hear that word and we immediately think it's bad, right? But what this shows is that some types of processing, like boiling, flattening, and drying, can actually make a food better for us, or at least better for our blood sugar. And that brings us to the single biggest takeaway. It is not just about what you're eating. It's about how that food was prepared long before it ever got to your kitchen. It's amazing, right? You can have two foods from the exact same source, and they can affect your body in completely different ways, all because of how they were processed. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If we could get something as basic as rice so wrong, what other foods in our kitchens are we completely misunderstanding? What other secrets are hiding in plain sight in our pantries? Definitely something to think about.